So you want to be a booktuber, or a book talker, or a bookstagrammer? Well, you've come to the right place. It's that time of year again. New Year's resolutions abound, and we're all hoping to make our book creator dreams come true in 2024. I'm Sam Cody, and I've been making book content on the internet for a couple of years now, and I've made some really talented friends along the way. I reached out to a bunch of people for their advice on being a book creator and how to get started in 2024, and 4 of them generously responded with their actionable, useful advice for having more success as a book creator in 2024. A note before we start, 4 people is not a very big sample size and doesn't even scratch the surface of the diversity of the book community online. In the spirit of sharing different perspectives and showing you that Book Talk, BookTube, and Bookstagram really are for everyone, I'm going to showcase some creators who I'm not close enough to ask them for their advice just yet, but I really do want to point you in the direction of and tell you what I learned from them because they're awesome and I think you should watch them. First up is a longtime creator friend of mine and co-host of the Book Reviews Kill podcast, Evan Leikam.
Hey everybody, my name's Evan and I run Book Reviews Kill over on TikTok and Instagram, and I also have a YouTube channel and a podcast. Now, one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you after doing this for a little while is to not chase trends. Do your own thing, but also chase trends a little bit. Read the things you want to read, branch out, diversify, get out of your comfort zone a little bit and realize why people like the books that they really enjoy and see if you do too, and if you don't, explain why. Just because a book is popular does not mean that it's bad. Sometimes it's really good and it's worth your time, and you'll get a little bit of a content boost from that as well. But at the same time, you also want to read the things you want to so this doesn't turn into work and you're not constantly chasing what everybody else is reading. You want to read for yourself. Authenticity is going to win out every time over chasing trends, but chase a little bit.
Thank you for that great advice, Evan. I'm sure that's really going to help a lot of people. Next up, I'd like to highlight Nickelle and her BookTube account. Nickelle is basically brand new to BookTube and has been making a big splash. Her videos are informative and personable and relaxing to watch. Just recently, she released a video about reaching 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a huge milestone. Congrats, Nickelle. And she talks about being pleasantly surprised that so many people want to hear what she has to say about reading and actually care about following along on her reading journey.
I just can't believe that that's happened, and I just wanted to say a huge thank you to every single person who has subscribed. I just I look at my videos and I think, why is anyone even I follow so many people on YouTube and they produce such amazing quality videos, and mine are literally just me sitting in front of my iPhone talking.
I think this is something that a lot of book creators have felt at one point or another, regardless of how many followers or subscribers you have. The idea that your own perspective is valuable to someone else in some way, whether that's analysis or humor or just a different way that you picked up the same material and had different thoughts about it than they did. She expresses in that video that she doesn't necessarily see her videos as anything crazy out of the ordinary, especially special compared to everyone else's. And what I say to that is that the thing that makes it special is her. It's her perspective, it's the way she presents things, which by the way is masterful. And the presence and the vibe that she curates on her channel is very unique and something that a lot of people really appreciate. Go check out her channel, it's really great, and I know that we can all learn a lot from watching her videos. Next up is Aly Lourim with her advice for new bookish creators and people who love storytelling in general. Take it away, Aly.
Hey everyone, I'm Aly and I make videos on books, yes, but more specifically, storytelling. So in general, I am focusing more on broad storytelling videos because that's really what I'm passionate about at the end of the day. So specifically that relates to find something that you're passionate about that you're gonna wanna talk about all the time. You really need to find a way to make YouTube sustainable for yourself, something that you're gonna wanna make videos about over and over and over again. Okay, great, so now we know what you're passionate about, figured out what your sustainability is. Now let's talk about, do you actually want to make this a career? Do you want to be monetized? Do you want to do this as your full-time job? Because if you do, then you really need to think about what it is you're doing. Your videos, yes, they're going to be niched within the realm of books because that's what you love, but how can you reach more of a general audience? How can your videos tap into people that maybe don't read, but they can still entertain them or inspire them? What is the goal of your channel and how can you service your audience through videos that you love making that you have to do all the time? That's my biggest takeaway that I've learned this year of doing BookTube. When it comes to the other social media platforms, don't worry about those for now. Just figure out how to be good at one platform first. Also, if you are not subscribed to Sam's channel right now, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button. It goes a long way. Thanks for having me on your channel, Sam.
Thank you so much for sending that in, Aly. That is great advice. Next, I'd like to highlight Sunny Kim, who I just found recently. Sunny has a fantastic video. It's 18 minutes long, chock full of honest advice and personal anecdotes from her journey on YouTube. It goes really in depth. Some of the things she covers are the social and mental hurdles to becoming a booktuber, like what it takes to put yourself out there and how to get there yourself. That's something that is super important to becoming a creator in general. One thing she mentioned that I hadn't really thought a whole lot about before is validating yourself along the way. Yes, we're always looking for those numbers. We're looking for those views, those likes, those comments, but being able to validate yourself as you go, it will greatly increase your longevity on whatever platform you choose to do. Wanting to be there and getting satisfaction in the process of getting to where you want to go is invaluable advice for this. Her insights could not be more relevant and useful, and I think you should go check out that video. It'll be linked up here or down in the description. Up next is Tori Morrow. She does a lot of videos on sci-fi and fantasy books that she reads, and she just released an Oscars style wrap-up video for 2023, which I think was really cool. It had all the Oscars categories, and she picked a winner for each of those categories out of the books she read. So that was super unique. She always has creative videos like that going on. So let's hear the advice, Tori.
Hey guys, I'm Tori from Tori Morrow. Thank you so much, Sam, for inviting me to be a part of this video. My biggest piece of advice is to create a little content calendar for yourself. This is something I wish I would have done so much earlier in my booktube journey. I think just being able to see the month laid out in front of you, even if it's, just a bunch of ideas, things that you've brainstormed, just to kind of see that visually in front of you is such a game changer, and it helps things just go so much more smoothly on the back end, and it gets you in the rhythm of creating content consistently. And then my other piece is just to remember that reading is not a competition. The more you get immersed in this community, you are just going to be seeing so many people reviewing books, recommending books, wrapping up books, hauling books. And sometimes, especially I think when you're newer, that can feel a little overwhelming, and then you begin to feel like, well, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe my content isn't enough, and maybe I don't deserve to be in this community. And I'm telling you that it is, and you do. So just have fun with this journey, keep doing you, and welcome to the book community.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Tori. I appreciate the thought and effort you put into that clip. Next, I'd like to highlight Brody from their channel, A2 Brody. Brody is Cherokee and speaks on what it's like to be a queer Indigenous person on BookTube. Their videos on the subject have been really eye-opening to me and very informative. And if you're an Indigenous person who wants to get into BookTube in 2024, I definitely think you should check out their videos and see what they have to say on the subject. There's one video in particular called Let's Discuss 002 Indigenous Q&A that covers a wide variety of topics relating to being Indigenous and being a booktuber. One thing Brody talks about in that video is what it's like to be a creator with marginalized identities and the pressure that comes along with that in terms of promoting books that feature your identity or uplifting those voices in general. This is something I've started to feel a little bit since I came out as non-binary, but I don't have the intersectionality and the perspective on that Brody does. So if you're wondering about that, definitely go check out that video. Very much worth the watch. This is something that everyone can think of as you're stepping into an online book space. How can I take this kind of pressure off of marginalized groups using my own platform? Next up, let's hear from Kyle, who hosts the podcast What Are You Reading? And also had a fruitful career on TikTok as Panic Kyle. He very kindly invited me onto his podcast back in 2022, where we talked about The Word for World is Forest by Ursula K. Le Guin. If you want to hear our whole conversation, I'll link that podcast episode down in the description. Let's hear it for Kyle.
Hi, I'm Kyle, or Panic Kyle, here on TikTok. You may remember me from these videos. Let's talk about the opening line of The Stranger by Albert Camus. In the desert, I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his 1-star Goodreads reviews today of the Bible. Let's talk about the first sentences of Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. Even though I don't really make videos about books anymore, I do have some tips for those who may wish to start making content for various book communities on social media. First tip is be consistent. When I first started making content, a lot of people said you had to make up to 3 videos a day. I don't know if that's really true, but I'd like to think it showed the app or the algorithm that I was serious, that I was going to be around for a while. My second tip is be patient. Your videos will not get the number of views that you think they deserve, unfortunately. So maybe think of content creation as making video journal entries for yourself. And in fact, when I first started making TikToks, I did it with that mentality. Just 60-second vlogs about what I was reading. My third and most important tip is find your point of view. Some might call it a shtick, but go into it thinking that you're going to make content that highlights what you're interested in. For me, I did this by focusing on the first line of certain books. And when I started to do that consistently, my account really took off. And my last tip, which is equally as important, is create content that you would want to come across your For You page. So create content that you yourself would want to watch, especially if you think your point of view is somehow different than what you've seen represented on the platform. So I hope this helps. Enjoy your journey, make friends, ignore the haters, comment on other people's posts that you like, make connections, and you're sure to have a positive experience.
Thank you so much, Kyle, and another big thank you to Tori, Evan, and Aly for submitting their videos as well. It's a big help, and I really appreciate you all. Please go check out their channels and subscribe to them. They make awesome content and continue to inspire me every day. If you made it this far in the video, I think you'd be a really good fit to be a subscriber of my channel as well. I make book content here on YouTube, and I'm feeling fresh, I'm feeling ready, I'm feeling excited, so follow along if you want to see my videos as they come out. Big thank you to my patrons. They make it possible to do what I do long term, and I couldn't be more thankful for their continued support. If you'd like to become a patron and receive some additional benefits, which I'm planning on scaling up actually, the link is in the description, so check that out. What was the thing? What was the other thing? There's something else. If you want to see my top 5 sci-fi and fantasy books of last year, check out this video right here where I discuss them all in depth. Those are all great books on that list. Okay, that's all. See ya.